Hello, this is Dr. Stephen Fishburne, Medical Director of BJC Corporate Health, and joining me is Ebony Nooks, Lead Medical Assistant at our Midtown Clinic. In this short presentation, we'll walk through the BarnesCare Medical Authorization Form. We will explain what each section means and how to complete it correctly. This information is for employees, supervisors, and anyone who interfaces with BarnesCare to make sure authorizations are filled out accurately and efficiently.
This is the BarnesCare Medical Authorization Form. We'll walk through each section step by step so you know exactly what information is needed and how to complete it accurately. Understanding each part ensures that authorizations are processed quickly and that patients receive the correct services without delays.
This section covers the basic information we need for every authorization. Start by listing the patient's full name and the date of filling out the form. Next, fill in the company name, contact phone number, and work address. The authorized by line is critical. This should be the person who is financially responsible for the visit. Typically, this is a supervisor or HR representative. Always include their direct phone number, not a general company line. This allows us to reach the correct person quickly if questions arise. Finally, note the valid through date. This is the date range which the employee can be seen under this authorization. It can be valid for a day, a month, or longer depending on the company needs. If the authorization expires and the employee has not come in, we'll contact the company to request an updated form. It is best to make sure this date works for the employee to allow enough time for the visit to occur.
Below the demographics section explains 3 key policies that apply to every authorization. First, the company representative listed on the form is the individual taking financial responsibility for all charges related to the visit. Second, if the patient is under 18, a parent or guardian must be present for physical exams, injury visits, or immunizations. However, parents cannot authorize drug or alcohol testing for anyone under 18. Finally, BarnesCare policy allows only the patient and our staff in testing and treatment areas. Please remind employees not to bring family or friends into those spaces for safety and confidentiality reasons.
This section is for work-related injuries and illnesses only. The company needs to check whether the employee is being sent for an evaluation, treatment, or both. An evaluation is used when the employer simply wants the evaluation or illness assessed. For example, to determine if it's work-related or if treatment is needed. Checking the treatment box means the visit will include care such as medications, work restrictions, medical devices, physical therapy, or specialist referrals. It's also very important to specify the body part that is being authorized. If multiple areas are involved, list each one clearly here. If the employee later reports a new injury or adds another body part after the visit, the company will need to issue a new authorization before we can proceed with additional treatment.
This next section covers drug screening, and it's one that often causes confusion. It should be completed when the company is requesting a drug test. There are 2 main categories, DOT and non-DOTs. DOT testing applies to federally regulated positions such as commercial drivers, pilots, railroad operators, pipeline operators, and Coast Guard personnel. Each falls under one of the federal agencies listed: FMCSA, FAA, FRA, PHMSA, and USCG. All DOT drug tests are urine-based and must follow strict federal procedures. The other option is non-DOT testing, which includes urine, rapid urine, where results are read in the clinic, hair, and oral fluid. Selecting these usually depends on company policy. Below that, you'll see checkboxes for the reasons for testing. Pre-employment tests are for new hires, promotions, and in certain circumstances when an individual returns to work. Post-accident testing occurs after a workplace incident. Reasonable suspicion is used when an employee appears intoxicated or impaired on the job. Random testing applies to companies that have a random selection pool. Follow-up and return to duty testing occurs after an employee has completed a treatment or monitoring program, usually through a substance abuse profession, also known as SAP. Finally, some tests may be witnessed or observed. Observed testing is invasive, meaning the observer must visually confirm the sample is provided. This means the employee must expose from their navel to their mid-thigh to make sure that there is no devices or tampering that could alter these results.
This section covers breath alcohol testing, and it follows the same general principles as drug screen section. The employer should check whether the test is DOT or non-DOT, and then select the reason for testing, such as pre-employment, post-accident, reasonable suspicion, random, follow-up, or return to duty. During a breath alcohol test, the employee breathes into an approved device that measures their breath alcohol content, a direct correlate to blood alcohol concentration. If the result is 0.02 or higher, the individual should not drive or perform any safety-sensitive duties. For results between 0.02 and 0.039, the employee must be removed from duty for at least 24 hours or until after their next shift. And for a result of 0.04 or greater, this is considered a DOT violation and requires referral to a substance abuse professional or SAP for evaluation and follow-up testing. This section covers physical examinations, and several types may be selected depending on the purpose of the visit. Multiple exams can also be completed at one visit. A post-offer exam is a general physical that evaluates whether a new hire can safely perform the essential functions of a job. A DOT exam applies to commercial drivers regulated by the FMCSA and includes specific federal medical standards. Annual exams are periodic evaluations used by employers to monitor an employee's ongoing health and ability to perform job duties safely. Respiratory clearances are required for anyone who wears a respirator at work. These exams include an OSHA respiratory questionnaire, pulmonary function testing, and a focused physical exam. Toxic exams are for employees working in hazardous environments, such as hazmat or HAZWOPER conditions. They may include testing such as blood work, urine, audiometry, chest x-ray, EKG, pulmonary function testing, and hepatitis B screening. Finally, asbestos exams are for workers potentially exposed to asbestos fibers. They typically involve a respirator clearance, pulmonary function test, chest x-ray, and full physical exam. Selecting the correct exam type ensures that employees are cleared appropriately and that all regulatory requirements are met.
This section lists the immunizations that can be authorized and given through Barnes Care. We provide vaccines for hepatitis A and B, influenza, tetanus, measles, mumps, rubella, and varicella. This section and each previous section also has options for employee to pay. If the form does not specify that the employee will pay for the service, the default is that the employer will be billed. Finally, the last section is the Other Services box. Here, employers can authorize specific testing that might be needed. Common examples are pulmonary functions testing, audio, TB screening, also known as PPD scan test, lab work, or essential function testing. Essential function testing is typically performed by our physical therapy team. It evaluates whether an employee can safely perform the physical demands of their job through specific strength, lifting, or movement maneuvers. Thank you for taking the time to review the Barnes Care Medical Authorization Form with us. We hope this presentation helps clarify how to complete the form accurately and what each section means. If you have any questions or need assistance completing the authorization, please contact any of our Barnes Care locations listed here. We are always happy to help make sure your employees are seen efficiently and that all authorizations are processed correctly. Thank you for watching.